Moshpit passion, you know, for the passion of music.
Ja, herzlich willkommen hier bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich bin der Kajo und wie ihr sehen könnt, bin ich nicht alleine hier. Einige von euch haben es schon die ganze Zeit gefordert. Macht doch mal bitte ein Interview mit Gene von der Band Dark Angel. Und jetzt neben mir hier der Gene, der in unzähligen Bands gespielt hat. Fear Victory, Death, Strapping Young Lad und. Wir sind hier beim Graspop Metal Meeting und werden natürlich primär über die Band Dark Angel sprechen, weil die sind aktuell auf Tour. Veröffentlichen hier nochmal ihren Klassiker sozusagen live. Und daher nicht wundern, wenn ich jetzt ins Englische umswitche. So Gene, first, nice to have you here. And how is it for you to be on tour to play this record live on the first hand, and also on the other hand that unfortunately one of your members of the band passed last March. So how are your feelings? Are they mixed or?
Well, you know, to answer your final question there, your second question, you know, we try to make every night a real celebration of Jim's life and musical legacy. You know, it's like I wear this on stage every show, you know. And, you know, Jim's always there with us in spirit. And, you know, even though he had kind of started pulling back from playing live with us back in 2022, you know, he was still a part of the everydays of Dark Angel. So missing, you know, having Jim not with us, you know, just as a brother, you know, as a person, that, you know, that was very unexpected and very shocking and very, you know, very stunning to us, you know, because we did not know that he was about to pass away. So, you know, so that's why every night, you know, we dedicate the night to Jim, and we just, you know, try to carry on all of our musical legacy together, you know, just in a really super positive way. We try to make it a celebration. We try not to make it too heavy. And so, you know, being able to come out with all the guys and now Lady from Dark Angel, you know, just out here playing shows and getting to play Dark Angel music for people again, that's super fun. And I believe people are enjoying it, so we get a lot of real positive feedback. So as long as people are into it, we're happy to do it.
Of course, if you drop the name Dark Angel, everybody is saying, Darkness Descends. This is the record, I would say. And what does this record make so special for you? Well,
I think, its specialness, I guess. That's my very first record I ever recorded, so that's pretty special. And you know, I was 18 years old when we recorded this thing, and I believe that a lot of the bands that were coming out at the time, you know, '86 was a very special year for thrash metal. A lot of bands were releasing what went on to be total landmark records. Of course, from the Big Four, you got the three guys from the Big Four all releasing amazing records. You know, Nuclear Assault doing the same thing, Game Over. You know, Creator had their release, Pleasure to Kill. You know, Overkill had their releases going on, and so, you know, Darkness Descends was just, it was such an intensity build from the prior record, We Have Arrived, and that's why I think for anybody who might have heard Dark Angel before, going, cool band, you know, sounds good, and all of a sudden Darkness Descends comes out, and it's this big surprise and just beating people up. I don't think people were quite expecting that, and so and when we were recording it and releasing it, we weren't expecting it to have, we didn't know, you know, we're all kids, you know, 18 through about 20 years old at the time when we recorded this. We didn't know that people would still be, you know, really celebrating this album 37 years later as it stands now. So that's pretty darn fun, you know, and I tell you, I've had conversations with tons of guys from tons of big bands just going, Darkness Descends, that was my benchmark record. Like, I loved everything else that was out at the time, but this helped create me and my band and what I wanted to do. And I've heard that, like, from the death metal through the black metal through the just straight heavy metal, and that, you know, so that's pretty damn fun that, you know, an album like this recorded when you're a teenager
Yeah.
can have a lasting impact on people. So we feel very special in that regard, absolutely.
I hope it's okay that we jump a little bit in the time, because how was it when you recorded the Death record with Chuck Schuldiner? Did he also say, hey, I listened to this record, it was so special, come on, let's try something together in the style of Death? Or how was it back with the work of Chuck Schuldiner?
Chuck was a super big Dark Angel fan, and we were pen pals before, in the tape trading scene. We were pen pals while he had Mantis and Death was just getting created, and I had Dark Angel going and things like that. So, we were really well familiar with each other's material. So, he would tell me what an impact Darkness Descends had on him. Dark Angel, Possessed, Jeff Becerra, of course, arguably the creators of death metal to a large degree. Hey, they created the term as far as most of us knew,
Definitely.
Absolutely. So, so there you go. I mean, Chuck was into it. Chuck was all into all the extreme stuff at that time. And, Chuck also, of course, had a huge love for all the traditional sounding metal, all the Ronnie James Dios and Rob Halfords and Warrell Danes and, guys that could really sing. Chuck was really into that as well, but he liked it brutal back in, we all did when we were 18, totally.
Crazy. And let's jump a little bit more into time, because I'm a big fan of Fear Factory, and seriously, one of my favorite records is Mechanized.
Very cool.
It is, let me say, the comeback record of the band, because there were some troubles, and then they reformed, and also you played the tour and also on the record.
Right.
And their style, there's also completely different from what you did in the past, because it sounds really like a machine, and
Right.
you nailed it. And everybody was saying, yeah, you were the right person for that band, for that record. And
Very cool.
also, when you listen to the Fear Factory stuff and also compare it with your work which you did in the past, was it hard to, let me say, to do the style of Fear Factory? Or was it like, all right, I know your vision, I know your sound, let's try and we work out? And then was, of course, Mechanized? Or how was it with Fear Factory?
Actually, what you just said there was kind of the way it was. I understand what Fear Factory was looking for, and like a lot of the, kind of the machine gun riffs to the kicks. That's Dark Angel. That's what I was doing with Dark Angel years and years before. The exact thing. Like when I started putting, chopped up riffs to chopped up kick drum patterns, like in Death of Certain Lives Not, Darkness Descends, Black Prophecies, and then on like No One Answers, and then all over the place on Time Does Not Heal itself. That was, I was doing that because I was like, you know what? I've never heard anybody try this approach before, and I can do drum patterns and I can do drum riffs. I write a lot of the material. I play a lot of the guitars on the Dark Angel records. So it's like, why not combine the two into, this is a sound that I can't recall anybody else doing back in 88, 86, 88, 90, when we were recording all of these albums. So I'm like, just try this and see how it works. And that was one impact that I believe Dark Angel had on other bands, where it's like, I remember hearing the song, that was pretty dang cool, let me try my version of that. So I think that's kind of the impact that Dark Angel had. And Dino always told me, he's like, dude, I saw all the old Dark Angel shows in LA, so we might have had a little bit of impact on that. But that's where doing that sort of stuff, that's in my wheelhouse. I remember when I first started rehearsing with Fear Factory for writing the record, I know I hadn't played drums in a number of months because I was working on this other album where I was playing guitar and trying to get this other album together. So I had to tell them, guys, I'm gonna, all these crazy patterns you want me to write, because I remember that's how Dino writes. Like the drummer plays beats, comes up with patterns, and Dino kind of plays along to those. I was like, it's gonna take me a minute to get my legs back, because right now I'm in guitar playing mode and production mode for the last number of months, but just give me a moment and I'm going to get this again. So it took a minute, and then we were off to the races. And then playing live with them, Raymond, he was a very, very fine drummer, absolutely. And I remember making a joke one time in an interview saying, God, I can't play Raymond's stuff, I remember that was a headline somewhere. I was like, oh, well, I watch how I do, you know, and watch the YouTubes, you know, it's all, but I enjoyed playing all the Raymond material, you know, it was fine, as I recall, and I do remember there was a song, what's that called? It's on the Demanufacture record, Zero Signal?
Zero Signal,
I think that was my favorite song by them, I think, to play. That's a fun song on drums.
You mentioned something interesting about claiming headlines all over the media, because the record after was recorded with the drum machine, and I know you got asked about this, hey, what do you think about it? And you said, skip drum machines because I slam every drum machine, and everybody was like, yeah, definitely, and everybody was also slamming on Fear Factory that they were like...
I missed that. I didn't pay attention, but...
Yeah, and they re-releasing now the record with the, let me say, with the drummer, played the drums, not the drum machine, which is all coming out next week, by the way, with Mechanized. Also a reissue on Nuclear Blast Blows Records, the Industrialist and Mechanized reissue, coming out next week on vinyl, CD, etc.
Crazy.
And I see our time is running out, and for this I want to ask you, because our magazine is called Moshpit Passion, and if you got a crazy Moshpit experience from yourself, or which you saw on the stage, which you want to tell us or to share us.
I could tell you from the stage, and I could tell you from the pit.
Yeah, please, both.
Either one you want. Well, God, one happened in 1992, maybe, where I remember being at an Entombed show.
Entombed, yeah.
In San Francisco, of all places, at the Stone. And I remember being in the pit, just having fun, just raging with the rest of them. And I was a real big guy at the time. And I used to wear a chain around my neck, like a bicycle chain, like, you know, had the padlock on the back, big chain. And I just remember pulling it off, swinging it around in the front row. And then after about 3 or 4 songs, the security came out and said, "Oh my God, please stop, you know, that's crazy." And the band was telling me afterwards, I met the band after the show for the first time. You know, I didn't know them. Yeah. They were like, they told me about it like way later, like 6 years later. Like, when you showed up at that show a few years ago, you started swinging that chain around. We were terrified. You know, we're like, shit, man, what if he loses the chain and hits one of us with it? So that was pretty fun. That was a fun time. Yeah. And, you know, just a month ago, Dark Angel played 3 shows in Los Angeles, and the pit was so psychotic. You can see it on YouTube. Yeah. You know, we recorded the night. You know, we might have a release of the video and audio at some point, but from minute 1 of the first song of the first night to the last minute of the last song on the last night, just, it looked like 1986 all over again. Just bodies jumping on the stage, jumping on, running off, jumping on, running off, slamming, pits going crazy. Yeah. That was really exciting, you know, and it's been a long time since I've seen stage diving. You know, we purposely took the barricade away. Yeah. And there's no barricade, so kids are getting on, getting off, you know, a lot of young dudes that they're like 86 again. Yeah. So that's kind of how that was. So there's 2 quick stories for you. Pretty damn fun.
Gene, thank you very much for your stories, for the time, for the interview.
Brother.
I wish you all the best with Dark Angel. We will both see the show later. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Please also support Dark Angel on social media. Put everything down in the description. See you next time. Bye.
Moshpit Passion, you know, for the passion of music.